I have a hot take that I don't think is a hot take, but I get into arguments with people all the time.
So it's a hot take.
Well, yeah, maybe it is, but I don't think.
All right.
Hey, how's it going?
How's it going, Jacob?
I'm
Long
good.
time no see.
Yeah, it's been like a year.
Yeah, it has been a year. Good seeing you in person back in Japan.
You too. You too.
So before we go right into One Piece, I already was talking about your great sweater, which turns out to not be One Piece,
No.
but it looks like it should be.
It did give me Brook vibes. That's why. That's literally why I bought this.
Pretty, yeah. I immediately thought you found like some really cool like collab thing. Or
I
something.
wish. Man, there's this One Piece Converse that I've always wanted, and they did it like, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, and I'll never find them because they're like $300.
Did you see the was it with Puma? I think.
Yeah.
The Gear 5 was immediately sold out. I really wanted those.
Yeah.
And they were just like gone.
One Piece, I feel like is okay. I don't know if we want to go into this tangent. Is this like first? Is this like a PG or can I? Sure.
Yeah, you can. Say whatever you want.
I feel like One Piece as a brand has hoarded itself out to like any collaborator that wants it. But every now and then they do like something like a Puma or a Converse one that's so good, and you're like, oh my god, I want this so bad.
So for the audience, especially in Japan, One Piece is on everything. It's on toothpaste and tomato sauce and a lot. Like they collab a lot with like lotteries.
Yeah, in the weirdest things.
Yeah. So pretty wild. For the people who don't know you, do you want to introduce yourself quickly?
Yeah, hi, my name is Jacob. I'm a huge One Piece fan, but also I play guitar in a band called Good Kid. We're like an indie rock band from Toronto. We tour around the world, and we put out all our music DMCA free for content creators, which is kind of how I met you a little bit. Yeah,
exactly. I was about to ask if we can maybe put some quick clip in here.
Yeah.
Like a hand reaching for a handle, but to find that it was never there. Tenderly I can handle knowing that it's all up in the air.
But then it's already been in here since you now said yes. So
Yeah, there you go.
So the audience already saw it's mind blow.
Yeah, it's all DMCA free, content ID free and stuff. And
you guys should check it out. Links are obviously like below. And I've been listening ever since you reached out. I've been like always catching up with like everything you guys have been putting out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I love like it's weirdly enough my gym like playlist is either like aggressive hip hop or you guys.
That makes sense. We write like fast paced indie rock, so it's like a lot of people have tell me they run to it or they like work out to it.
Yeah. It's great for running. I actually have recently stopped listening to music when I go running, just to like keep a bit of like it's kind of nice. It's kind of like a little bit more meditative. But and also I've been like using my runs to come up with video ideas, which has been like really fun discovery.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, just like run for like 20 minutes. It gets your head a little bit more empty.
Yeah.
You like work through some stuff.
Yeah.
And then like I'm like, what would be, like, wouldn't this be cool?
That makes sense. I just started boxing recently, and a similar thing kind of happens there because it's like an hour of pain, but it's also like somewhat meditative in that way, and you do come up with a bunch of ideas.
I'm just waiting for the day that you get to do the opening for the next anime season for One Piece, and then
that's literally my dream. I don't know how. I've been trying. Okay. Do you follow the anime at all?
I do again. Yeah.
Okay. There's one director, Megumi Ishitani. Do you know her?
Yeah. I think you reached out.
Yeah. I asked you to help me translate an email to her. Yeah. You're right. I forgot it. Yeah. I've been trying to like. Just to like do anything with her because she just did the opening for Witch Watch too. I don't know if you know Witch Watch.
So I haven't watched the anime yet because I think only one episode is out or something.
Yeah.
At the time of recording, we're dating the podcast is probably coming out in December and the season's already over. But I have been reading the manga, so I'm definitely caught up with the story.
Yeah. Well, she did the opening for she directed the opening and it's
using the Ghibli AI, right? I'm pretty sure.
Did you see her on Twitter?
I saw her. Yeah, she was really angry.
It was so funny. But I love her so much, and everything she's done, I'm like, holy crap, it's like the best thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I want so badly to work with her on literally anything. So I've been trying to find a way to contact her, but I haven't been able to.
I mean, just stay persistent with it, I guess. So maybe. I mean, you guys have been growing like pretty fast as well, so
it's been cool. Yeah, it's been fun.
So I think sooner or later.
Yeah.
And I know they've been like slowly opening up a little bit more towards, like foreign collaborations. I'm trying to think. I think was it Kaiju number 8? That had the opening, or was it with Youngblood also? Like more foreign bands doing stuff.
Yeah, I could see one day. I don't know if One Piece will ever do it because like I feel like they're so established, but you never know. They've got the remake that's coming out for Netflix, and if there's anything ever, that's my dream is doing anything somewhat officially related.
And I feel like your music would, interestingly enough, like fit the vibe quite nicely.
Well, I would literally write for them. Yeah, like that's what I hope. That's the kind of collab
movie or something like that.
Yeah, anything.
That'd be super sick.
Yeah.
I mean, even something like they did with Film Red, where, like in case people don't know, Otto performed all the songs, but then like you had different bands, like Fake Type and Miss Green Apple and like all these bands actually writing the songs, and then I think they released it, like they re-recorded them themselves and then put them out like a year later. But even that would be super sick.
Was Chili Beans one of them? The band.
Doesn't ring a bell, but I'm not gonna put my hand.
No, I just
in the fire here.
I just saw a band recently called Chili Beans. And they opened up for Asian Kung Fu Generation, who, if you don't know who they are, they're like the anime opening band. They've done like every hype opening in the world, but I thought they played a song. I was like, wait, was this in Film Red? Either maybe they covered it, or maybe just in my
I would not like. Doesn't ring a bell from the album, but also I would not put any money on it.
Yeah.
All right. Before we go any further, obviously, the namesake of this podcast is Drink Sake, or the podcast is named Drink Sake, so this is the sake, which is the namesake.
Let's do it.
And cool thing, so the staff got me this fantastic shout out to everyone behind the cameras and behind the podcast also, and Geeks Plus. Got me this beautiful bottle, which is actually, maybe we can put up the manga panel somewhere on screen. There, it's probably there. Or knowing my editor, it's probably somewhere else. This is the same bottle that Shanks was drinking from so cool. in the manga. So if you're down, it's already almost 4, so
let's do it.
I think that's the right time to crack open the bottle.
It should be. So. I mean, people drink here like
at any.
Yeah, wow.
We might or might not have cleaned this since last time.
Also, like the Shanks sake in the like Whitebeard size cup.
Yeah. Correctly. Do you want more?
I have no idea what. We can do it.
We can refill.
Yeah.
Like sake is very easy to drink usually, unless you get like the spicy stuff, and it's a lot stronger than it looks.
Cool.
All right. So kanpai.
Let's do it. Kanpai. Ooh, that's good.
Do you want me to put it down for you somewhere?
I got it. I'll just hold on to it.
Okay. Just like drink through it.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think about it. I think I had like enough for lunch, hopefully. I mean, otherwise, the funnier the podcast is going to be, I'm sure.
I mean, we can go through that whole bottle. You got a lot of sake bottles.
Easy.
Here.
I did that once with Joey, with the anime man. Yeah. We went out somewhere and we wanted to order 1 glass of sake. And the owner was like, 1 bottle of sake coming right up. And we were like, okay.
That's so funny.
I guess that's happening now. That was definitely like the way home was quite the excitement.
I really like don't drink in general. Like it's not that I'm against drinking. But I have this. No. I just have like this totally falls. I only drink when it's free, more or less. And this is free, so I'm in.
I mean, I will say I've been cutting down.
Yeah.
Because it's very in Japan. It's like drinking culture is so big.
Yeah.
And then I'm German also, so
that's also
doesn't
very
really
big there.
Not the greatest combo if you're trying not to drink. But I've been cutting down, and more so in like social occasions and stuff. Yeah. Like
well, I'm glad you made a drinking podcast.
Well, see, I was like less drinking. I'm just gonna have to do it for work. I guess.
That's what it.
All right, let's dive a little bit into. I mean, I know we're not gonna have an issue finding topics, but at the time of this recording, the anime has just come back after 6 very dry months.
Yeah.
So we're like ending the dry phase
in
like multiple ways right now.
It's cool to see how lively Tokyo is with all the ads and everything for Egghead coming back.
Yeah.
Like I landed and I'm just like, oh wait, I forgot. Yeah, it's coming back and it's everywhere.
Shibuya had like big banners and everything. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
It's so cool.
Did you go to any One Piece stores yet?
I have. I've been to the Miguato shop in like Shibuya. Oh, I got a gift for you actually.
Oh. All right. Wait, we can exchange gifts.
Here, can you hold this? Sorry.
I'm just drinking.
I just went to. So I know you like Magic the Gathering, but
how did you know?
Lately, I've been getting into the One Piece TCG. I don't know. Have you played it yet?
I have. So I played it when it first came out, actually.
Really?
Yeah. But then I didn't get into it because I got into Magic, and I was like one trade. Oh my god.
Well, I got you one pack. I went to like a store, and I got you a pack of every set that they had there.
Yo, champ.
Which is cool. There's some sets they don't have in Canada yet.
Wait, can we show these to the camera like this? Is this focusing? No. A bad bit back. Yeah. All right. Yo, these are insane. All right, this is actually hilarious.
Why?
Because what I do usually with each podcast guest as well.
Oh, cool.
It's like let them pull a card.
Oh shoot! What did I get? Okay.
And it was like, it was like
Oh.
a special collab.
Whoa, sick! First of all, it's Sanji who is my favorite.
Alright.
Like I love
Destiny.
Sanji. I love Sanji so much, and also Taz is Taz Skylar, right?
Yeah,
That's his name?
Taz Gallery, yeah.
Taz
And this is
Skylar.
like the collab. Like it was like I don't think it's out there anymore, but they used to do it for like a month.
Oh my God.
And it's like the special collab they did with the live action,
That's so cool.
which
I love
I
it.
think is coming back this year. I'm like still, even as a One Piece creator, not 100% sure because like I think the rumor, like Netflix kind of soft confirmed it's coming this year, but
The showrunner
really
also
knows.
left. Like I heard I don't remember his name, but the showrunner.
Matt Owens.
Yeah, he took a break or quit or something.
Well, I gotta say I'm a little bit confused. I gotta double check with some people who know him personally better, because I feel like there's been some confusion where some people were like, "Oh, he's just quitting completely," and then I think like the statement he put out was more like he's maybe just taking a step back and might come back. So I don't know what the exact situation there is.
I hope he comes back because he did such a good job.
Yeah, I don't think like it sounded like he's mostly a little bit burned
Yeah.
out. I think. Which I mean, with the project like that, I can only imagine.
I get it. Well,
Yeah.
this is great. Thank you. This is so cool.
These are fantastic. I was like always on the risk of like buying some, and I'm like, no, it's not. I'm spending an unnormal amount
On money on Magic?
of like. So I give my like like when I do my budgeting,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this is how much I can spend this month, like
my
for
God.
private stuff.
Well, I'm sorry. I didn't want to give you. I don't want to give you a One Piece
Another addiction.
Yeah.
Should we? 25.
That one's cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, the 25th anniversary and OP11 are not available in North America yet. So
That is so
those ones
cool.
are special.
Should we crack one open?
Yeah, let's do it.
Alright.
I don't remember they have like one thing that they have in these is like these manga panel cards that are like
Okay.
really beautiful. I mean, they're like one in a couple of cases, so I doubt we'll get one. But
Okay, but if they
you never
are,
know.
it's like I can stop working basically. I can
they
retire.
they usually. I mean, they sell for like probably I don't know a couple $1,000s for like
really?
the best the
That's
best ones.
crazy. Oh my god.
One of these has like not. I think it's the OP11 one, the one with Katakuri on the cover.
Dude,
it
that
has
is
like
super sick. I love Katakuri.
they made a card with like gold. It's like a Gear 5 Luffy, but it has actual like gold in it, and they have one with like silver. And that one is like
What?
popping off. People are going crazy. I think
Here
there's
I-
like a slit on the side.
I was about to say here. I say I'm a pro. Oh, there. That's the.
It's different than Magic because
yeah.
you're opening it with the Magic pack way.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the
All right.
One
Are we
Piece cards.
opening multiple thousands of dollars in the podcast?
We'll see.
This
We'll
is
see who
the
you get.
Club Krabautaman, the Klabautaman.
Yeah.
From this is the Dawn cards. Okay, so I gotta say I know the Dawn is like kind of like your mana, right?
No, that's not Dawn. That's like an event card, I think.
Oh, that's an event card.
or
okay.
stage. The Dawn, the Dawn
This was
is like mana, though.
Sanji. There's an Usopp. Okay, I mean, I'm not sure. I might show these like later on. Germa 66, Carrot.
And you just skip to the rare. Is Carrot the rare?
That might be Corazon. Foil Corazon.
Oh yeah, Corazon. That's sick.
I love Corazon.
I love that character. He's one of my favorites.
See, now I didn't bring any sleeves, dude. That is a really nice card. I remember like when the card game first came out, they kind of had like these weird anime.
I heard just screenshots, right?
And I was like so disappointed.
Yeah.
And I think that's what also originally turned me off a little bit. But now, like, because sometimes when I go to like stores that have like Magic cards, they have like the One Piece card game too. And I'm like, damn, these are like starting to look so good.
They've amped it up. It's
I
so much better
saw
now.
there's like a collab with like some like the Dr. Stone. Was it like Food Wars, the mangaka? And then was it Dr. Stone? I don't remember. Like some big other mangaka who did like guest cards.
Yeah.
I'm sure like these are gonna be like super valuable too.
Some of them are like super beautiful.
Yo, Corazon is so sick.
Yeah, I cracked a bunch on stream the other day, and I got this like really really awesome gear. I think it's Gear 2 Luffy, where
Oh, that's sick.
it's just. But anyway, it was really really.
I
Beautiful.
like that Rocinante, he's like actually part of the Marines in this card.
Yeah,
Kind of cool. I mean, I guess technically he's a Marine.
I don't know how to play it yet. Like I'm kind of learning, but I know it's like there's factions, and those factions like actually matter, like the colors and like
cool.
it's you have like Straw Hat cards or Marine cards or Supernova cards. Or
But there is like the Dawn mechanic too.
there is the Dawn.
right?
Yeah, it's kind of like energy with Pokemon. I don't know if you ever played the
Yeah,
Pokemon
I
TCG.
have. I'm gonna put this here. Thank you. I'm gonna crack all of these open later.
thank you for this.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for this. This
I
is
feel
really,
bad.
as someone who just started collecting and playing the One Piece TCG,
Yeah.
this is super cool.
My hope is that because this was like a once in a lifetime collab, that these are hopefully gonna go up.
Well, I mean,
Potentially.
regardless, I love Sanji as a character, and I loved
Taz
his rep.
rocks it.
Yeah,
I still think he would have made a great Zoro also.
Yeah, I found. Did you? Okay, I had one thought. I was like, he's a little bit too buff. I felt for Sanji. To be Sanji.
I think Sanji can be muscular.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's
like post time skip Sanji.
Yeah, I really like Makenyu, but he like plays this almost like stereotypical version of Zoro, where I don't think Zoro is that like very cool, stoic, never laughs guy. I think like when you actually read like early One Piece, like he's always pretty funny.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
So I feel like Taz almost nails that. Like, I mean, he plays the good Sanji too, but I think he could have like really fit the vibe there.
I agree. I do think he did a good job. Like, or maybe, I don't know if it's him or the writing did a good job of making him kind of, how do I say this? Not all the way pervy.
Yeah, like a good balance.
A good balance, yeah.
Actually, I would even like put it the other way. I feel like he could have even been maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
I feel like they could have like, I mean, I think they nailed it, but I wouldn't have minded to go like a little bit even more, like make it a bit quirky.
I wonder if he's too cool for that. You know
Maybe.
what I mean? Like you'd have to cast someone a little bit more.
Also, no shade on Makenyu, by the way, but like he's playing it great. I'm sure it's like more like how the writers envision Zoro, and I feel like that is like a very like how you would sell the character. Very cool, stoic.
It's a good way to introduce a character when you don't have a ton of time, I guess.
I think me personally, just having like spent a lot of time with these characters, obviously, I think I would see like that's how people see Zoro. But like I think when you actually look into the story, like there's more humor to him and like like more lightheartedness than people sometimes give him credit for, I think.
Do you like the live action?
I do. I really do. And like I think like the fact that I can say this is I'm like really happy about, because I've watched a lot of live action anime.
Yeah.
And I was, even with all the pre-production and like, you know, Matt Owens, like clearly like leaving a very good impression. I got to talk to him a little bit on the Reverie ones.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And, you know, like Oda working so closely with him. I just, in my mind, I saw no, like, why would One Piece be any different than Cowboy Bebop or like all the other stuff that I've been, like Yu Yu Hakusho and whatnot. So I was just so positively surprised by it. And I'm very excited for I think the second season is really gonna, you know, make or break it to a certain degree, because you know the fruits are only getting quirkier, the characters are only getting quirkier, and there is a difference between, you know, like doing Luffy or doing Buggy, which is already a challenge, but then, you know, Chopper or having like a Logia fruit user. It's like, how realistic do you make that? How, you know? So I'm very curious. Like this is kind of gonna like we're gonna find out, I think, this year with the new season, whether they're gonna actually nail it or not.
That's a good point. Chopper is like a high risk for sure.
Yeah, Brook is gonna be pretty high risk too, I gotta say.
Oh my god, you're right. I have no idea. And even Frankie, like what are they gonna do with Frankie?
Yeah,
like a Speedo wear. They could just, the costume design for Frankie, I think is gonna be the hardest one of all of them. Like you can't just have a guy in a Speedo and a Hawaiian shirt the whole time. Just gonna be
The Rock.
Is it?
With like no like bottomless Rock.
Yeah, like who are you gonna get? How are they gonna? You think they're gonna try to find someone with his body type too, of like massively like a rock climber or something? Someone who just like is jacked on the top and tiny legs.
I mean, that's the thing, obviously, with like a lot of the One Piece characters, where you can. For example, with Usopp, they made the choice. Okay, we're not going to put the prop nose on, which I think was a good choice.
I agree.
So the question there is, okay, like with Frankie, do you just like de-characterize it a little bit, or not?
I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
Do you think? Quick random question. Do you think Usopp in the manga, his nostrils are as big as his nose? Like how?
Oh, you mean like it's like this?
Yeah,
I don't think so. I would think it's like small nostrils and then just like a really long tip.
I've always wondered, like, is it just cartilage there, or is that like?
I feel like we've seen Usopp's nose from below. So.
Oh, you're probably right. We probably have. Yeah, I guess you're right. I don't remember.
I feel like that would be really cursed if it was like.
That'd be so funny. It would be more like flaps, I guess, right? Like
my god.
Yeah, there'd be no structural integrity there for Usopp. Yeah, so funny.
It'll just like flop down.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Unless he gets excited.
I'm very happy with the way that they did it, and the production was good, and I think it was a really good gateway for non-One Piece fans. And I don't know about you, but I'm like I don't mean to do this, but I'm a person.
By the way, please put it down.
Oh, cool.
Let me just put mine here.
I'm the kind of person that if I meet someone who hasn't read One Piece but like reads other manga,
yeah,
I turn into like a Jehovah's Witness about it. I don't know why. Like I just like
you gotta watch One Piece.
Yeah, like I just try to have you like heard the good word,
the gospel
of
my man
Oda,
Usopp.
and I just spend hours trying to convince someone to like read one. I just did it recently, like to a friend of mine who was here, and she was talking about like she was working on writing a story, and I was like, well, if you're gonna write a story, you gotta read the best. Yeah, you gotta read the best story. Yeah. And I've done that to too many people randomly, and anyway. But I'm glad it does my job for me. I don't have to.
It really
people.
does. And I feel like I've kind of gotten the feeling over the last few years that One Piece almost sells itself to a certain degree. I think the biggest issue really is like if you're someone who enjoys manga, I'm always recommending the manga because you can just breeze through it, right? Yeah. Like as much as you can breeze through like 1,140 chapters, right? But with the anime, I feel like, especially with the younger generation, like people who are like 15 to like 20, I think the original One Piece, it just does not hold up. Like if your introduction to anime was Demon Slayer or something, then I understand why you would not want to sit through like 20 or like 200 episodes of East Blue and whatnot in the Alabasta.
I mean, look, I'll say it. The One Piece anime is kind of trash for the most part until recently. Yeah. Like other than a couple of key scenes that they put a lot of effort in, it's brutal to watch. Like I don't even watch it. Like, and I'm a huge fan. I just I can't bring myself to like sit through it. And the recaps and the filler. Like I know One Piece like solves a lot of those issues, but if you were to just spend your time actually watching it, it's really tough. That's the biggest thing that makes people not want to engage with it, because they're just like, it's too long, it's too slow. And I'm like, yeah, it's true. So you kind of have to become a manga reader, I think, to like really convince a lot of people into it. Like I have friends who've tried to watch it, and they just literally can't get past Skypiea because it's so long, you know? And Skypiea is already kind of long on the manga, but it's even longer on the anime, you know? Yeah,
I mean, I totally know what you mean. Like, I had a problem with the anime probably starting post time skip ish, and maybe that's just because the story was so good that like looking back on it, it's not like the animation was super crazy.
Yeah,
but like the story was just so good, and like I got into One Piece through the anime as well. But I felt like once I started I think once you catch up, and then you need to wait a week, and then like for me that was like during late Dressrosa, early Zoe. And it just was so excruciating.
Wait, is that when you started reading?
That's when I started reading.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So that must have been like 2012.
Wow. I started reading I think just as time skip was happening.
That's really good. That's a good time. I guess how long was the actual break again for
the
like
manga?
The time skip? Yeah, when the time skip happened.
I don't remember. It felt like an eternity because
it must have been like half a year or something, right?
Yeah. So if you were like a week to week reader when the time skip happened, it was one of the craziest experiences. Like everyone was talking about it. Like, I mean, you know, obviously, like you guys already, like the One Piece content creator world is all about talking about, but like even the YouTube sphere, I feel like didn't exist in the same way. No, it did not.
Yeah. Like even when because I started the channel 2018.
Yeah.
And like, there wasn't that big of a creators. Like there were obviously some established creators like Roger Bays and Teching was already around, and Joy Boy, but like it's nothing compared to now where there's just like, so, I mean, like I love on the one hand all the super creative new people who have joined the community, but there's also just a flood of like faceless 100 secrets you didn't know about One Piece channels.
Well, it was like, as someone who was there reading it when it happened, it was just like it was such a different experience. It was very much like a word of mouth kind of thing where like people would just talk about it amongst friends. If you like liked anime or if you like read manga or whatever, like that's how you kind of found out about different things back then.
Well, it was also just didn't have the same level of accessibility, right?
Yeah,
there was no Viz, manga app, and there was, like people were even, I guess Crunchyroll was probably pretty young still at that point.
You'd have to find them like the scans online. Like
and
that was the only way.
Even if there were scans, right? So different times today, which is nice. I'm like very happy, obviously, that anime and manga has become like such a mainstream thing. Yeah, and
yeah, it was very like Viz has done a really good job of making it more accessible. I remember the scans used to come out. It used to be on Sundays was like the thing.
True.
And now it's or at least for me, it's Thursday nights to like get the.
Yeah, I mean, it's been always. So I think I'm covering the official on my channel, but like when I started, I think like covering the scans was just the
well, you're here, right? You can actually buy the
physical, and I mean it's a little bit weird in general with like Japan time because it technically comes out at midnight, which is a bit annoying.
Oh, it does.
Like it technically comes out like when Monday starts, because like Shonen Jump would be like in the convenience stores they're starting to sell the magazines at like like midnight basically.
Yeah.
And then like now you can buy it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean the entire scan thing went through like a whole cycle, and I think it's gonna keep changing. Obviously, I personally am of the opinion, and I think most creators would probably agree, the healthiest thing would be for the entire community to just have one digital release early on, like simultaneously all across the world.
That would be really smart.
And then, the print comes out a bit later. But then obviously the reason they don't do it is, well, who's going to buy the print then?
Yeah.
And that's a fair argument, but also that way you're never going to get rid of the problem of people like getting the chapter somewhere early and then like translating it. And
can you clarify this for me? Because I don't actually know. Do people is it people buy it in the store and then someone translates it and puts it online, or is it their leaks from people who work at Jump?
I'm not like super well versed with like how it but I think there's like all of the above kind of situations depending on what time period we're looking at. I think like at least like I think the common wisdom like a few years back was that some people in Japan who had like super good connections to some convenience stores or something, like they would basically be like, hey, we're gonna give you because the show, like I think they printed Shonen Jump, shipped them out throughout the country right early on, so
I see.
so they're like ready in
I'm
time, right?
it, yeah.
So almost like a week early, and so they would be like, hey, you can, like, we're friends, you can read it early.
I see.
And then they would like scan it and upload it, right?
Okay, so there's a lot of potential for leaking. Depending.
Yes, but then also I think there was like a case where like for a while there was like an internal leak somewhere.
Interesting.
Like either in the translation team or
I
like
think
in Suisha itself.
I think I did read about
Yeah, I'm not sure if that got shut down or not.
But I mean, I agree with you. I think it would be healthier.
Yeah.
And like ever since the Shonen Jump app came out, like that's usually where I read it.
Yeah, it's already. I mean, I don't want to blame people because I obviously understand that you do wanna, especially as someone who used to cover like the scans, obviously, right? Like, I'm like not blaming people because it's like, oh, if it's like you love the show, I want to know what happens next, and if it's available, like.
Well, the other thing is
look
like
it up, but
the one thing as a casual, like someone who doesn't like analyze it for a living, is you risk, if you don't read it, you risk getting spoiled on it.
That is very
right.
true.
And so there's sometimes it's like a bit of like an arms race of like you kind of have to, you can't be on Twitter or anything if you're.
Yeah, I mean, for me, for example, I put out the chapter review like as soon as possible after the chapter actually is officially out, right? But by that point, within like probably 48 hours, there's already the first spoilers for the next chapter.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm like in the luxurious position that I'm big enough where I've like, like build an audience that is willing to wait and like consume it anyways. But at this point, you kind of have fractured the One Piece community into like, I mean, you have like obviously casual fans, then you have people who are caught up to the anime, and then when it comes to the manga, you have people like, I know people who just like, there's first of all, there's like sometimes I'm not sure if that's still a thing. Like there used to be like these GIF like leaks, like GIF reactions. Like people were just like going in all on that. Then you have like some short spoiler summaries. Then you have like text spoilers. Then you have like some early scans, better scans, and then the official. And you'd have like basically almost brackets of the community living based on like different stages of like the spoilers.
Okay, give me the dirt. Is there like a thing in the community? Is there like a divide of people who are like scans are cool and official releases only?
I mean, I feel like there's always been like a good amount of people who are like, I only read the official. And I think that's like very laudable if that's you. And then there's people who are like, hey, the scans are out and I'm just gonna read them as early as possible. I think it's just sad in the sense that I know people who only read the text spoilers and then you're never gonna, like, there's always gonna be mistranslations. You're not gonna see the panels, and I'm like, you're almost consuming a different story at this point.
Yeah, that's an interesting.
It's also like a slight criticism. Like, as much as I've been enjoying the anime again, like in terms of animation and pacing and everything, I think people who watch only the anime also like slightly watch a different story because the power scaling in the anime feels different from the manga.
Oh, that's a good point. I
like,
never thought about that. Like how crazy hockey is represented.
Yeah, how crazy stuff goes. And, like, I mean, I remember it started kind of like in Wano when Zoro was fighting Killer.
Yeah.
And he was basically like destroying the entire island by just jumping and fighting Killer. I'm like, where are we going to go from here?
That's a good point because it kind of like takes away some of the impact when he slices, what's his name? Pika?
Yeah.
Yeah. When he slices him in like half.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
Like, that's
just
crazy
what's
move.
happening all the time now. Basically, whenever something happens, like all the island is basically like
Yeah, I guess
I'm like, why is there still stuff standing?
yeah, that makes so much sense because then like Garp's Galaxy Impact is like way less of a big a deal in the anime because it's like, oh yeah, I mean, him and everyone else, right?
And this is just a personal opinion. I know enough people who are like, yo, I love Dragon Ball every single episode, and I think that's completely fair and like it looks fantastic. But I think if that's the only thing you consume, then I think it might give you like a wrong impression of like how everyone's scaling.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting conversation around. I've talked about this because I have a hot take that I don't think is a hot take, but I get into arguments with people all the time.
so it's a hot take.
Well, yeah, maybe it is, but I don't think listening to a audiobook is the same as reading a book because I think some like maybe in some stories it's the same thing. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But I do think some authors literally write a book to be read, like the prose, the sentence structure, the length, whatever. Like they use the medium of writing to like convey some extra message. And similarly, I think that's true of like manga where like sometimes, and I know you've talked about this, like the character that is used, and I know that maybe this is more specific to the Japanese language, but like a character can be interpreted as like multiple things. And
Absolutely.
if you're listening to an audiobook, someone reading you One Piece or listening to the anime, you're just getting the dialogue and you're not getting like any extra meaning that could be there.
I feel like that's always the trade-off you do like with read. And I think it's especially relevant for One Piece because, you know, there is so much mystery and so many like Easter eggs and so much theorizing going on. And that's not true for like, I'm trying to think what's like which watch, for example, I think if you watch the anime, it's probably the same. Like if the anime is well done, you don't need to read the manga, right? I think for One Piece, the difference is like you get so many like little details that might get omitted, or it's like a narrator box, or it's like a little description here or there, or, you know, where I would totally agree. I mean, I personally really like audiobooks per se, but I would agree with you that only for like it makes sense for certain genres, right? If it's like something very information based or something.
I think that my main thing is that like you're reading an interpretation or you're getting an interpretation that isn't your own, which is like
reading the music, reading the lyrics.
Yeah, it's just like it's somebody's presentation of the book, which like the way that they do voices of characters, for example, like that's still like somebody's interpretation of like their attitude or their anger or their sadness or whatever, however they read that. Yeah. And obviously when you read a book, you have your own bias, but I think that's part of what reading is to come up with those connections yourself. And if you do listen to like one of my favorite audiobooks is like The Lord of the Rings by I can't remember, why can't I not remember his name, but
you mean by the actor of Gollum?
Anthony Sudeikis, is that his name? No, that's the comedian.
Yeah, it's oh my god,
he's won like so many Oscars, I should know his name. Anyway, Andy Serkis. Wow. Anthony Sudeikis, Andy Serkis.
Very close.
Yeah, but there's so many good like, and he's not there. There's so many good readings of that book, but they all feel a little bit different.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense because he's like fantastic with voice acting. Yeah. And he was in the movies, obviously. So
but like you get, I guess all I'm trying to say is like that's why my hot take exists. Is it's more, I feel like you're getting an interpretation. You're not getting it's similar, but it's not the same. In the same way that watching an anime is like it's similar, but then sometimes a director decides to like go off and turn Yamato into like one of the best characters that you love, and then in the manga, I personally feel like Yamato's kind of like not that well developed.
Really, I love Yamato.
I love Yamato, but I thought Yamato's a character I didn't love until I watched Megumi Shintani's episode, and then I was like, holy shit, like I love Yamato.
Really? Cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Just added a depth to the character. I feel like that wasn't. I mean, that's fully kind of explored,
and I feel like that's like a something the anime actually has the chance to do, right? Is like add context and add depth to characters, which I personally think is always like a better thing to do than try to create like filler by doing the classic panning shots.
Yeah, well, of course we're talking about Megumi Shintani, who like is the best at the king of filler or the queen of filler, right? She did Fan Letter 2, which is like one of the best episodes of all time.
Yeah, it was so good. It's technically not even official, but it was so good. In my heart, it's canon. Yeah.
Well, that Yamato episode is like mostly filler. Like most of that stuff is not in the manga, right?
But I mean, that's a great way, I feel like, to actually build like an episode. Is flesh out character design, writing characters. I mean, I think bringing it back to like the leaks and spoilers. One thing I often see because I do consume both the English and the Japanese, and there is always a lot of context. Like there's already context getting lost every time you translate into another language, but then also you have like, I'm not like honestly super up to date with like the entire like who's leaking what, and like I know there's always like different people competing, and I think people probably want to be the first to like have the new translate like something up from the chapter. but some of these are just like wrong or bad, or sometimes it's just that person's interpretation.
Yeah.
And then half the I'm not sure what the actual percentage is, but then like something like half the manga readers community like goes with that one text spoiler
for sure,
even though it could be like something completely different, right?
Well, how do you, as someone who can speak and read Japanese and English, how do you feel about the official translations? Because sometimes they feel wonky to me as like a reader.
I mean, it's the same as with like any translation. I think like there's times when I think they nail it really well and they're way closer to something than some of the sometimes some of the scan translations are closer. Yeah. And I think it really always depends. I personally think it's always fun, you know, as a creator. Like I think I'm very like happy that I can, you know, have a look at the original and be like, hey, actually this is, you know, really like something I think people like that. There's often like little things that fly under the radar. And I mean, I think some great examples that you probably would never realize if you were like an anime only watcher or something, or like a manga reader, is like things like, I mean, I think that's at this point pretty popular, but like, for example, Akainu and the one member of Sword are the only two people who actually like speak with the Hiroshima type accent Japanese. And so like there's been like the idea that, you know, is that maybe Akainu's daughter? Right. And is that why he was like a little bit more lenient towards Bonnie, for example, like, and stuff like that when they meet?
That's so interesting.
And I mean, I know that sometimes you have adaptations that just get like crazy precise, and you know, I tried to remember, there was like one manga adaptation of a manga where they actually went through the trouble of like basically like that character was speaking with this accent, so like the voice actor for the English dub actually was like more southern or something.
Cool.
Or like, you know, Irish versus
like
and I think nuance, like unless you have like a team that's like that dedicated to like detail, it just gets lost.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's interesting. I think that's, I mean, I've told you this before, but one of the reasons why Hibari,
I was like trying to think of
one of the reasons why I love your commentary on stuff is because you can give that perspective. I think a lot of other One Piece, like I honestly, I consume a lot of One Piece content from different content creators and different like people who analyze chapters, but you're kind of the only one I know, at least, that does that like more in-depth analysis on the language or the characters used or like the translations. And it's a whole aspect of the story I never was able to understand or engage with, because I can speak a couple languages, but of the One Piece ones, I can only speak
a little bit Japanese, I think.
Sukoshi. Yeah, a tiny bit, not enough. One of the reasons why I want to learn is to be able to read One Piece in the original language, because I speak French, and there's a book that I love. I mean, it's like one of the most popular books in the world, Le Petit Prince. I was
about to randomly say that because that's the only French title.
Because it's a book that's been translated into I think it's been translated into more languages than any other book in history. Maybe the Bible is the only other one. But
never heard of it. Bible?
The Bible, yeah, a good read right there. But
does the author read it as an audiobook?
Yeah, oh my god, that'd be so funny. Actually, there must be so many audiobook versions of the Bible.
That'd be interesting.
I wonder who like the best one is.
Also Andy Serkis.
Yeah. Oh my god. But yeah, anyway, but Le Petit Prince, like as someone who can read in both, when I read it in English because I had to for like whatever, when I was a kid, I think there was like an English requirement to read that book. Yeah. And then in my French school, I also had to read it, and I was reading both of them. And I was like, they're kind of the same, but they're different. And the French one is like more compelling.
But you're not from Quebec, are you?
No, it's just I was in French immersion. In Canada, everyone
Makes
in
sense.
public school has to take French lessons, and then you can. My mom is from Quebec; she's from Montreal.
Okay.
So she put me and my brother into French immersion school. So
and only then are you actually allowed to move to Quebec if you want to, right?
Honestly, I mean, you can move there anytime. I just wouldn't recommend it if you don't speak French. They're pretty brutal to non-French speakers.
I've heard, yeah.
It's not the best. It's not the most friendly. Like, fair enough, you know, they want to retain the language and everything, but it ain't the most friendly to non-French speakers. Even if you speak French, if you're not like good at French, I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty abrasive.
I've heard from some French friends actually that like the French they speak in Quebec is like almost sounds like a little bit antique.
Oh,
like a native French speaker.
Yeah, the theory is that like actually I've heard this theory about languages in general, that colonized places are closer to the way that people spoke at a specific point in history, because they didn't like,
that makes sense.
They didn't have the density of population required to change slang as quickly as they would in like
That's
in like mainland France or whatever.
Yeah.
So Quebec being like a much smaller population relative to France, like the idea is that the language didn't
have
as
enough
quickly.
time or not enough usage.
Not enough density really of people. Because it's also Quebec's a pretty big province, and so people are pretty spread out. So it's not like France where you have Paris, where like Paris is one of the biggest cities in the world. Like even Montreal relatively is a small city compared to Paris, or honestly probably even compared to other places in France. Yeah. Should we pour another glass?
Sure, of course. Yes, please do. I should be the one.
All right. Yes, thank you.
In all the Japanese.
I don't pour my own sake.
No, you should not.
I've never poured my own.
I never do.
Is there like a host thing of
who am I? Yeah, okay. It's like a respect thing. Yeah,
that's good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's put the good Sheng sake here.
This is great. Cheers.
Bye.
I feel like I should have learned Bang sake for this podcast.
Oh yeah, I have like one video, I think, like a very old one.
Yeah,
that was like from like 2019 or something, or 2020. I think roughly before I hit 100,000 subs, I like did like a version of
really
sake and like a video. Yeah.
Well, that's sick. I mean, I don't know if anyone knows, but you're actually like a great guitarist.
No, okay, yeah. Okay, no. That is just bull.
No, you are.
I play the guitar.
You could play
great. Is not.
You could play Polyphia, which is like one of the hardest guitar like riffs or guitars.
I tried to play Polyphia.
I heard you play and I thought it was pretty good. As a professional guitarist, I thought it was pretty good.
Thank you.
You did a good job.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever talk about your guitar or music.
I guess not really.
Yeah. Well, now the world should know that you are a very talented guitarist.
It's nice. I like the instrument because I was like forced to play piano when I was young.
Yeah.
And I hated it.
Interesting.
Which kind of sucks because I think like I never really because I didn't like playing. I never like really took the time to like I just remembered everything by heart. I never like bothered learning like notes or like. So now I'm actually forcing myself to learn sight reading and everything.
I mean, it sounds like a theme in your life. Like you were telling me you were forced to kind of learn ancient Greek and Latin, and now you analyze like language of One Piece.
Yeah.
You were forced to do piano. Now you play guitar for fun.
I guess it's like what's the lesson here? Don't force your kids to do something. I
don't know. I think it is to force them, but maybe I don't know. It's like you were
give
forced
it like
and you pivoted into like someone tangential, but still leveraging the skills that you were forced to learn.
I mean, maybe I like quickly to let the audience in. We talked about this before the podcast, but because you have Greek roots, right?
Yeah.
So I needed to be like a couple of words because I really like used to go to Greece a lot, like for vacation and stuff. Because not too expensive. It's my favorite cuisine in the world. I love Greek food. I make it all the time. Like
wow.
I make a pretty good tzatziki.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and then like just like gyros and everything.
Nice.
Yeah, it's just good, and it's good. Like actually like just grilled chicken with like tzatziki sauce and like some veggies or something is like great. The healthiest stuff you can do, and it tastes amazing.
The Greek diet is just like so very good. Like I eat like tomato salad pretty much every day.
Yeah,
I'm very stereotypical Greek in that.
You also smoke the 3 packs of cigarettes.
No, I don't. I'm not stereotypical in that way. I don't really drink wine or get trashed.
Some Rocky every
Rocky or like Cupido or whatever. Like no, I don't.
I love it. Like whenever you go to, I mean, I'm not sure if that's actually true for every restaurant, but usually when you go to a Greek restaurant in Greece, like they always drink like one ouzo with you or one raki with you. I'm like, you must be like hammered, but like
Greeks are pretty laid back in that sense. They're just like having a good time and like it's fun. I worked in a Greek restaurant for a long time. It was somewhat similar energies, but it's like, yeah, I don't know how those places operate.
I also learned how to make pita bread recently, which is like pretty good. Like not that hard to make actually.
Wow, you're like half Greek already.
Basically.
Yeah.
Anyways, the story was, so I needed to learn ancient Greek in school, like Latin and ancient Greek. And I think Latin I found like somewhat cool, but ancient Greek I was like, I wish I was learning something more useful. And so we like translating the Odyssey and everything, like learning how to read ancient Greek. And I hated it because, you know, like you're like 15, 16 and I'm like, I want to like play video games. I don't know. So I kind of regret that because it's like in retrospect, it's like so cool. And I don't think I could, like, I think I can like still read it maybe, but I've forgotten like 80% of the words and everything. And it's kind of a shame.
Yeah.
I still remember what my teacher made us all remember the first lines of the Odyssey by heart. Crazy. I still remember that.
When you're done, when One Piece is over and you're done analyzing it, you'll start
the Odyssey
YouTube
theorizing. Yeah. There's I mean, I think there's a lot of cool stuff in like Greek mythology.
Yeah.
There's what's the book? there's like the immortality key. Do you know about that?
I don't know it.
And like it's a book about like the Eucharist and like the oracle of the mystery rituals of Eleusis.
Oh, cool.
And everything, and how like the potion they drank there was probably like some psychedelic, and they like all like Plato and Socrates, they all went there.
Oh, interesting.
And they did this ritual, this mystery ritual, and they all came out and like, oh, I'm not like, you die once and then you take away the fear of death or something. Like there's like some cool stuff.
Yeah,
like with
Greek mythology in general, and ancient like Greek
Yeah.
has so many interesting stories, like plots that you kind of see pop up everywhere, across the board. You know, like I heard that Atlantis as a concept.
I was about to bring it up,
Yeah.
like because I'm like really maybe because of One Piece or maybe the other way around. Like Oda definitely is, by the way, into we can easily tie this into
he's
One
got
Piece
so
because
much.
he's into all of this like ancient lost civilization stuff.
Yeah.
I recently watched a really cool documentary about like a Greek professor who retranslated the Critias from Plato.
Yeah.
And in case people don't know, like the Atlantis story comes originally from Plato.
Yeah.
And Plato basically gets the story from his ancestor Solon, who went to Egypt, and the priests there
Yeah.
tell him about, oh, you know,
This,
you
like,
guys are so
wonderful
young,
place, yeah.
but like in your country they used, like, you've forgotten, you're like such a like, young in mind. There used to be like this great civilization, you know,
Yeah.
and you guys basically forgot everything about it.
But that's crazy to me that like everything, like Atlantis is such a visceral piece of mythology, but also is represented in so many different things, right?
Yeah.
Like in so many different, like in One Piece and DC Comics and Marvel, like all over the place in so much literature. And it's literally a story told to a guy talking about a story being told to him. You know what I mean? Like that's
he
the
talks
that's
about
the
it
first
in a
mention of it.
fairly, but he talks about it in like, if you actually read it, it's really, because he describes it in like detail. He's
Yeah.
like, hey, you for this many days you sail into this direction, and then like the city itself is X kilometers long.
Yeah.
Like it's super precise. So I think that's really fun.
But it's just wild to me that like people have, like there's some historians that have made their entire career around trying to like prove that it exists.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's very likely to just be fiction.
I don't know, man.
You don't think so?
I'm like deep into all the
Oh my God.
the alt history stuff.
I'm so convinced that it's just,
Do you know what is it's there's a structure in the Sahara.
yeah.
It's called the Eye of the Sahara.
Okay.
Have you ever seen it?
No,
All right, let me show this to you. All right.
let's
Maybe
see.
we gotta get like a
Pop it up.
TV thing here. Yeah. Pull it up. And like basically the Greek professor who retranslated Plato, he's like, this.
They're describing
it's
that.
the exact measurements that Plato describes.
No way.
For Atlantis.
That can't be real.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
I'm
it's
sure they
huge.
verified it.
It's huge. No, I mean, because it's located in Mauritania, and it's like apparently not safe to do like archaeology there.
Oh,
Yeah.
why not?
Well, it's like I think they just don't have a stable government.
Oh, I
and
see,
it's
I
like
see, I see.
militias. But you can see it from space. It
Yeah,
looks like this.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane.
I mean, maybe, man. Listen,
And he kind
I
of
want it to be real. Don't like. I'm not like.
It's so
that's
sick.
too
I love it. I
overstepping.
mean, me too. And like especially like loving stories like
Yeah.
One Piece, like Lord of the Rings. I'm like a big sucker
Yeah.
for like lost civilization stuff. But yeah, I mean, like tying it around to, as I've been like dipping my toes into all the conspiracy like stuff. I'm like, oh, dude, Oda is deep into all that, because you kind of have all the conspiracy stuff in One Piece. You
Yeah.
have aliens, you have like
Government
moon
is
civilizations.
government's listening to you.
Yeah.
Or like is in on it and,
There's something definitely weird with the One Piece planet going on.
Yeah.
Like something about the planet is like artificial or fake, right?
You think so?
I really like the idea that, because you know the mural, right? We got
Yeah.
recently in Elbaf, and we have the people in the first world
Mm-hmm.
in the tech, where again lost technologically advanced civilization, right? They go down into the planet and come out with like these sun fragments. So it's like, is that the core of the Earth? Is that, or I've really like I think at the point this comes out, we already have the video up on the channel about like the possibility that the One Piece world is actually a Dyson sphere.
Oh, interesting.
So that maybe the One Piece planet itself is actually, and it's 5:00 in Japan. That the One Piece world is actually a shell built around a star,
Interesting.
and that's the forbidden power source.
Interesting. That's like
Yeah.
the fire or whatever. Like
Yeah,
the-
well, but there's like a lot of weird things. So first of all, have you heard the idea that the One Piece planet is way too big, like way bigger than our world?
yeah.
So like Marco talks about how there's like millions of islands and everything.
Sure,
Or like
yeah.
he even gives like a number which would make the planet like way bigger than the regular Earth. And then there's the weird solar system model in O'Hara. You know which one I'm talking about?
I don't know this one.
So wait, I can maybe show you that. We can also put it up on screen for the viewers. Let me quickly pull this up too.
Oh, interesting.
You guys will have it on screen. So
There's
basically,
like
we have the One Piece planet in the middle, and then what we think are like moons going around it. But we only see one moon in the sky, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of weird. So why is the One Piece planet in the middle? Well, the one thing is, could it be like kind of in our world where we thought for a long time, like geocentric?
That we were centric. Yeah.
We're in the middle, but knowing that the scholars of O'Hara knew all that knowledge, right, about the ancient kingdom and the advanced technology that they had, because Vegapunk got all that info from O'Hara, right? So they knew.
Interesting.
Is it possible that this is just the star and it's correct?
I don't know. I feel like, I mean, listen, One Piece is not physics correct, right? Like they're not, but
I don't know. I'm not so sure.
You can't put anything around a star in like without that thing just melting, right? Like there's no way it would be inhabitable.
That's how you cool it, by flooding it.
Yeah, but but then like everything around it would die. You know what I mean? Like a star. I mean, listen, I don't know. Again, Oda's not necessarily like saying things like
no, I'm not saying this is
physically real, but if you were to like map this to like the physics of like how stars work, and like it's just constant combustion, right? So it's like if you cooled it, the star would die, and then so like maybe
I don't think the star necessarily itself would die if you just cooled a shell around it, maybe.
Potentially.
I mean,
but then
this is just one idea.
Like where would the gas go? You know, like it would just
stays inside, maybe.
It would explode though. Like it has to have some release. There has to be some. The heat, the energy has to release somewhere.
I would bet that there's something weird about the One Piece planet itself, because like the red line feels very artificial, the Grand Line feels like artificial.
But I thought that was explained by like the flooding, you know, or like maybe.
But then why would there be like a ring shape,
the ring?
like two perfectly in like because they're directly, you know, like in a 90-degree angle to each other, perfect rings.
I thought that was part of like
it's like someone must have designed it in some way or form.
Yeah, well, I thought that you know how like there's the different gods, and like the Earth
terraform
god,
terraform the Earth,
Earth god.
Yeah, I mean that could also be the case. Yeah,
or not even. It doesn't have to be an Earth god. It could literally just be like someone with a fruit that like controls like ground or something, right? Like they could in theory do that. I'm curious if. Okay, I've been thinking about this lately, that one of the ancient weapons has eaten a fruit, like, or was fed a fruit, like kind of like how Chopper or like the sword or whatever, like the gun dog, and is like a living being.
Weapon.
A living weapon.
I guess technically Shirahoshi is already kind of a living.
I guess so. That's true.
And then the Pluton also is like, Pluton is said to like sleep below Wano, right?
Yeah.
So my impression was almost more so that they're all alive in some way or shape or form.
I guess describing it as sleeping does make sense. Maybe maybe it is. Yeah. But Pluton, sorry, is it Pluton? The one that Frankie knows the blueprints to. Like it can be built.
Yes, that's Pluton. It can be built, but then also like Frankie himself is a cyborg, right?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
So
yeah.
Like it could be some.
But
some
Frankie
hybrid.
has to build it, right? Like that has to.
Or
be,
he already has, maybe. Maybe
No.
the Sunny is already the Pluton.
You think?
I think that could be like. I will say one thing, and this is like always a point of confusion, and even me, like I think I have to go back and reread it, because I know there's this idea floating around that like Frankie didn't actually have the blueprints, but like the blueprints to like a counter weapon to the Pluton. But then I don't know if this is actually what the Japanese says or not.
I mean, I've only read it in English, so I don't.
Yeah, I gotta go. Like this is something that comes up quite often, and I gotta go back and like recheck this actually.
I'm pretty sure he has Pluton. Like
because I think that's always like the general perception, and then I always like stumble across like people saying, or like someone somewhere like some text saying like, oh, actually. But again,
it's possible. Like
either way, it's very interesting.
Yeah,
it's got to come back up at some point. Yeah, especially if Blackbeard should end up getting Pluton. I think it would make sense that, you know, Frankie might need to make a new one, or already has made a new one.
Do you think Blackbeard? Okay, now that we have a lot more information, what do you think Blackbeard? Do you think he's got like a god fruit, like just to be a foil?
Yeah, I think also, by the way, not only Blackbeard, I think like it seems very likely that he doesn't have a darkness fruit, which doesn't behave like a Logia in any way, right? Like the one characteristic of a Logia fruit is that your body turns into the element, and that's the one thing it doesn't do for it.
I mean, until recently, I thought he had like the Cerberus fruit because of the 3 heads.
I still don't hate that idea. There was like I made a video about that. There was like a Japanese YouTuber, Dodo Pizza. She does like a lot of like cool little theory stuff, and she had the idea that because the saber of Zebek is like Zebek no Ken.
Yeah.
But Ken also means dog. It's the kanji for dog, right? So the idea that could Blackbeard just be Rox's dog? And there's like a lot of like interesting things. So like the Cerberus thing might still make sense potentially.
I hadn't thought of that. I just like there's the main theories for him that I like are the 3 heads. So that's why
Kraken,
he can have multiple fruits, because we don't see him with like 10 fruits. We really only see him with the 2.
Yeah.
And then Kraken. Which I don't know if I love the Kraken one, to be honest. Like I know the hearts is like a thing.
Yeah.
I just didn't really see it.
I kind of like the idea that it could be like an animal, or like like Blackbeard is like an object or an animal that has actually eaten a fruit.
Well, I like that. Like mythic zone fruits have these like crazy properties. Like so that's why I did like that kind of that angle of it.
But I mean, the fact that he might not even be human, but like has eaten a human fruit to take that. Yeah, I think that's kind of fun.
Oh, interesting.
Right.
I feel like that one I don't really buy, because he grew from a child, right? Like we've seen him
right, but then he's already weird as a child, right?
I guess he is kind of weird as a child. But I guess you're right. I guess like Chopper has grown.
I mean, Chopper is like another candidate where I feel like him just having eaten the one regular human fruit just doesn't really make sense to me.
Yeah.
Because that would just mean like we now know there's multiple. Like Luffy has one, Sengoku has a human fruit.
Yeah.
So if he's eaten a human fruit, then it's definitely not the regular one.
Yeah, there's no like,
you
don't think there's just like a random like you're just like an average dude.
Then you just turn into a dude, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, then you just be a guy.
Well, he just had the forms, so like that's something, right?
But the forms are also weird because no one else has these. I mean, you could say it's this rumble balls, but even then, and then his monster point, which like we assume at least is his awakening form, right?
Yeah.
Which I guess is not confirmed, but I think that's what you would go to.
Sure.
Like that should be a big dude, not a big reindeer monster, right?
I guess it can't be his awaken though, because he doesn't have the clouds, right?
I
In
guess
zones,
so. But,
zones when they awaken, they get the cloud.
but we do get the jailers of Impel Down that have like the like non-controlled awaken form, and they also don't have the
interesting
clouds. So I'm like, has the Chopper eat like a mythical zone fruit too? Maybe.
I mean, it could be just like a
the
regular
forest
zone,
god fruit or something.
I wonder if it could be like a Jekyll and Hyde kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like where because he has that monster, he has a human side.
So there's definitely something more to Chopper. I mean, I still hope that I'm still waiting for the day. I wanted to make this video, but have repeatedly been told that people would not be interested. So if you're interested, please leave a comment.
In what? I'm so curious.
I wanted to make a video, what would happen if Luffy eats rumble balls?
That's a great video.
Because he's a zone fruit user, right?
Yeah, that's so cute.
Yeah.
I like that idea a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still torn on the Luffy zone thing. Like I'm over it now, and I like Nika, and I think it makes a lot of sense with the story.
Yeah.
But I always
the shock still.
Well, it's not the shock. I think it's fine, and I love the creativity that it allows for Oda to do with like the fights and all that. Like it allows for the story to develop in a way that is so kind of like how it felt like when they introduced hockey out of nowhere. Like all these chapters in, you're like, what the hell? Like now everything is kind of different, and the way the battles play out are different.
Yeah.
And for such a long story, I think that's really useful. And so I think like Gear 5 Luffy with the Nika fruit kind of operates in a similar way. It's like now we get to learn all these new rules that didn't exist before.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And that's really fun to experience. But I don't love the chosen one trope in general in like a story. And one of the things I used to tell people, and like when I was doing my whole sermon on One Piece, was like, oh, he's just a guy who has this like stupid fruit, and through his ingenuity and his like creativity, that's why he wins, or that's why he like comes out on top. And I don't feel like I get to. You can kind of still say that, but I don't feel like it's as true anymore.
I mean, I think for Luffy it works a little. I think, and just to preface this, I think that's like a legit piece of criticism per se. And I think that's just a choice Oda made. I would personally, I'm in the camp that thinks that this was planned from the beginning.
Yeah, I don't think it was. I don't feel like it wasn't planned. I just kind of wish.
I think it came less. Like again, I totally understand your feeling. I think it's like it fits into One Piece a lot more than I think it fit into Naruto, for example. Where I feel like in Naruto it really hurt the character.
Well, also Naruto didn't feel earned. Like he already got to the point in time where he had like earned every power up and like earned everything that he got to this like final form. And he should have just been like, this is good enough to win. He didn't need that like the random
sage.
Like literally it had nothing to do with his character or the story arc. He just gets this like extra power up, and same with Sasuke, and they both of them have such amazing arcs of like where they get their powers from and earning them in completely different ways too.
But I also feel like in Naruto it went kind of against the, underdog, like ousted from society kind of. I think in One Piece you do have, the inherited will and everything, and there's always like destiny in One Piece was always a way bigger part of the story than in Naruto, I think. So I personally like don't hate it too much. I also still think that I'm a big fan of the idea, and like I'm not sure if you know this from my videos because I bring it up quite often, but I love the idea that Roger had this plan to create the next Joy Boy. So he found the right woman, was also a D-Clan member, and they had like a baby, and and then he sent out Shanks to find the devil fruit and like I think that Shanks was supposed to give the fruit to Ace.
Oh, yeah.
I think he came to that island to find Roger's son, who had like the right prerequisites, like son of two D-Clan members.
Yeah.
Give him that, and then Crocus was supposed to wait there for Ace at the entrance, guide him to Laugh Tale, then Rayleigh at the middle, then Scopper Gaban towards the end.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
And I think Luffy just comes in and like out of nowhere just chomps down on this fruit.
Yeah, I think
that kind of gives him like that. Like, yes, he is like in a way he is the chosen one because he's the right person to awaken this fruit, which like it doesn't say anywhere that no one else had the Nika fruit. It just says that it hasn't awakened in a long time.
Yeah.
So it might have just be that Luffy was the first one to actually match up with like its will.
Yeah.
But so yes, you can say yes, destined, but at the same time he also he takes the initiative and kind of changes fate in the sense where like it was supposed to be Ace.
That's fair. I'm not like a huge hater on it, and I do, again, like I said, I like how much it opens up for the story and what it allows for, like literally just the artwork gets to be so fun. It's just that one aspect of it that I just feel like I don't know if One Piece needed it necessarily.
Right.
Like I think it works, and like you said, like I think that also that actually tracks, and I'm sure it was planned. But I'm just not like,
I don't really mind
had
the
that not
trope.
happened, I don't know if anything would have changed. Like I didn't need him to awaken this Gear 5 to beat Kaido. Like he already, I mean but that's like Wano's like its own thing for me personally, where I'm like, I just feel like Luffy had already earned the power ups that he needed to fight Kaido, but and Gear 5.
No, I
felt
see
like
your point for sure.
Gear 5 didn't feel earned in the same way as like learning what's it called, the haki that goes through people. They
like
learn from the
Gear
old
4th?
man. No, just the extra.
Oh, like
haki.
in general hockey?
No, there's the special type of hockey that.
Conquerors hockey?
Nope, it's the,
Armament hockey? Observation hockey?
Nope, it's the one that he's learned. He literally
Wi-Fi hockey?
The Wi-Fi hockey. No, the one he learns in Wano from the.
Oh,
in the
Diol, you
prison.
mean?
The what?
Yeah, Diol?
What's it called? What do you?
Like advanced armaments?
Yeah. That. Like I feel like that's what he needed to learn to beat Kaido. He didn't, and then he also got Conqueror's hockey, and then like now he had like Gear 5. It's just like it didn't feel like he needed that to overcome this part of the story,
I just kind of think that it was kind of the plan all along, and I think I personally like to think that Oda knew that there needed to be something special about Luffy's Devil Fruit, and I think it makes more sense that Roger and Rayleigh and Crocus and all these Roger pirates would bet so much on the person where they're like, hey, he has the Devil Fruit. Without the Devil Fruit, we can't use the One Piece.
Yeah.
Rather than, oh, Luffy's such a nice guy. Like, that's very romantic in a way, but also like maybe less realistic that you'd be like, hey, this dude is gonna be a great pirate, even though he has a shitty Devil Fruit or like an average Devil Fruit, and like just cheer for him. Like it makes so much more sense in retrospect, I think, that all these kind-hearted but still calculated characters
I think
would
you're right.
still bet so much on Luffy, knowing that literally he's the only person who can actually legitimately use and find the One Piece with his Devil Fruit power.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong, and I do think it's like Oda. I love Oda's writing, and in general, that like when the Nika fruit happened, I was like pretty stoked. And it's also obviously perfect for Luffy's character.
I get your point though.
Yeah, I have very few criticisms of One Piece, but it's not even necessarily a criticism. It's just like
that's fine.
It was more just like some slight letdown, and then Wano has a couple of other problems.
And I mean, I will say, I feel like people who are always saying like, because I mean, I feel like I have few criticisms of One Piece, but when I feel like I have something to criticize, I feel like I usually say it. Biggest criticism, I'm like always fairly critical of the anime. I feel like.
Okay, but I want to know your manga.
My manga.
What are your top manga critiques?
Not as many. I think if I had to say my biggest is, I am very sad that like a bunch of the Straw Hats I really like, or in general like even the like Straw Hats I maybe like not as like passionate about, just stopped getting development.
That's fair.
And I feel like I'm particularly looking at Nami. I think is like a border case because I think she still gets a lot of great moments.
Yeah,
but she doesn't really she didn't really have a character, and that goes for like a lot of Straw Hats that just stopped having like a relevant character arc after like their stuff was like Nami obviously had the fantastic character arc with Arlong, and then there was like a little bit of a callback to that during Fishman Island, but just a little bit.
Yeah.
Otherwise, she's been getting good moments and like power-ups, which is more than some of the other Straw Hats.
Sure.
But even there, like, I wish there was like some, because her dream technically, which is still like open, like never comes up. Like whenever we last talked about Nami drawing a map or that like being a problem or like an issue, right? Or like, I don't even know if that's something she still wants to do even.
That's a fair, I think that's a fair criticism. And I do agree, like, obviously Sanji has gotten the best development, maybe out of any Straw Hat, like maybe even more than Luffy. I mean, in some ways,
Sanji, Zoro, Sanji, Luffy.
I feel like Zoro actually hasn't gotten as much as as he
well,
should.
He hasn't gotten development, but I think Zoro never was that heavy on development, anyways.
But Wano was like Wano.
He could have gotten more.
My main criticism of One Piece, I think it's almost perfect, other than Wano. I think Wano as an arc is really good overall.
Well, it had more potential for sure.
It's just like, I think it was, because I look back, I don't know if, I think I might have told you this last time we met, but I look back at other arcs that I really liked that had specific development of characters. I think Wano is literally only like 10 chapters too short, like 2.5 months. That's all Oda needed, because like in that time, I think Kaido needed, honestly, like 3 chapters of backstory for Kaido, and you can combine Kaido and Yamato together.
Yeah.
And then both of those characters get like a lot more fleshed out. I think.
And a bit of Zoro flashback.
Zoro just needed like 1 or 2 like main chapters about him.
I was very surprised dropping that info in like an SBS when we literally had so many side plots.
We didn't need,
like, I'm like, we could have skipped the sumo tournament for all I cared. And
100%.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. And so like, I think those things could have happened. And honestly, Kid needed like just 1. Give me like 1 or 2 chapters for a Kid to make him like a more compelling.
Yeah.
Because so what I did is I went back and I went through how many chapters Big Mom got for Whole Cake Island, because she didn't get a lot. It's like I think it's only 3 chapters.
For a backstory, I think it was 5, if I remember correctly.
I thought
I might be mistaken.
I think it was less. Surprisingly, it's not as much as you
think. But it felt very like,
you get a full
very
view
rich
of who she is as a villain and her motivations.
And we got a lot in this flashback too. We did like some pre-work for Elbaf, like with Loki even, which is like getting relevant again now, right?
Well, even the whole Law Corazon, it's not even that many chapters either, and it's such a rich, beautiful story. Like the whole character of Corazon that we get out of that is like amazing.
And Law also, like, it just fleshes out these characters. Yeah, I totally agree. I think especially again, given how long and in-depth Wano was, which I loved, and it had like a lot of side tours, but I'm like, okay, you can't fit the Zoro family tie in here somewhere.
Well, like I said, 10. I think you give me 10 chapters. It's not a crazy amount. 2.5 months longer.
My theory on that is that Oda just got lost in the sauce there really hard, and then at some point he was like, "Oh, we gotta wrap this up, damn!" And like, okay, we got no time anymore. I gotta cover all this later.
Well, and that's literally my only critique. Because
probably like sorry.
No, go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt you. I think I wonder if the entire film Red Thing and him wanting to like get that Shanks panel with Uta and stuff, and like the little promo thing where he was like, okay, I got like 12 chapters left to like put a Shanks in here. It's like, no more time for Zoro and anything.
I wonder if it was editor pressure. That's kind of what I also thought. Was potentially just like, you have to wrap this up now.
It's like we can't be 8 years in Wano. I mean, I wouldn't mind, but
I would have again didn't need too much more. And then similarly for Frankie, I don't know, it's not over for Frankie yet. Like Vegapunk is still around, but I feel like Vegapunk.
I think
Frankie is Frankie like the thing.
Frankie has already gotten more stuff to do in Elbaf than he got in all of Egghead, almost with like the mural and everything and the robot. Yeah, I don't know. And I think the same is true for Chopper. So, I mean, if I needed to rank them, Luffy is like easy main character. He's getting like a lot of action. And Zoro, Sanji, like as you said, like Zoro doesn't have as much of a character arc per se, but he gets a lot of attention and a lot of like fight related stuff. Sanji, fantastic. Usopp gets a lot, I think, also.
Usopp and Dressrosa got like some good moments.
Which, like, for the longest time, Zoro was my favorite Straw Hat. I think now it's Usopp. I gotta say. Yeah. And I think that's probably true for like a lot of One Piece fans, where Usopp like goes from like very annoying to like slowly becoming their favorite character. Yeah. So I think those 4 are like easily the most. Then I think Nami has gotten enough stuff, but she lacks like she has gotten more power-ups and more screen time and good moments with the crew.
Yeah.
But doesn't really have a character arc or anything she needs to achieve. And then Robin is kind of the opposite. She has like a cool character arc, and like she's getting more and more important, but doesn't really get like, I mean, I guess she got her little power up in Wano, but I feel like power wise and like relevance wise, she hasn't been getting as much. But also like those two I would put like in the middle bracket. But then afterwards, like Brooke, Frankie, Chopper, Jinbei, like if they were not around right now, it would almost not make a difference to the story.
I don't know if I agree. I don't know if I agree about Jinbei. I feel like Jinbei gets a lot of screen time and,
that is true,
and
I
development.
guess.
Like, but
then
he's just
maybe we all collectively just don't care as. I mean, I
Yeah.
really like Jinbei as a character, but he's also like very grounded as a character, very
Yeah.
mature, very calm, which I like, and I think he's a great addition to the crew. But
I think he gets development more than anyone else in his choices. Like the scenes with him and Big Mom, for
Yeah.
example, and him deciding like
True.
I'll sacrifice whatever.
well,
Like,
and I guess technically he was. I mean, technically he really only joined the crew at the end of Wano anyway.
exactly.
So
And I think like through the post time skip, I feel like there's been enough moments where we see Jinbei. He
Yeah.
does something that like is impactful to like understand who he is as
Yeah.
a person. I don't think he doesn't need as much change because he is older and like more grounded.
I think
But
that's
you
a good
just get
point.
to understand a little bit more of like who
Yeah.
Jinbei is and
and
like,
I guess he's fresher also in the crew itself.
yeah.
So,
But I do
yeah.
agree with like Brooke has gotten like virtually nothing. Frankie's virtually gotten nothing.
I mean,
Chopper's gotten pretty much nothing.
Yeah.
I actually think Nami. I agree she hasn't got like character moments, but I'm not sure she needs it after Fishman Island. I feel like Fishman Island for her is like accepting, like her forgiving the
I
Fishman.
mean,
I think is like a nice wrap on the biggest tension I guess she has in her life.
Yeah, and I just wish there was like, because some of the characters have like these unfulfilled arcs where like for Robin, for example, right, there's like still so much potential, and like
Yeah.
we don't know if she's gonna get kidnapped. She wants to learn the true history. You know, Zoro still like, some of the Straw Hats have their dream, which is still so active and relevant in the story that it's just as like it's like still a character arc they need to fulfill.
Yeah.
For like again, for someone like Nami or Chopper, I just never get the feeling like, oh, there's still so much on the line here and they're working towards their goal. It just feels like they're kind of tagging along.
I guess the one thing I'll say is
Um,
like what I wish they did with Nami better, like to your point, like show her making a map or show her talking
It
about
could
it.
just be like a panel, panel after every arc, and she shows like we see like her progress on creating the Grand Line, and maybe she's like, huh, this is weird,
Yeah.
or like how are these things connected, and like there's like some sort of mystery or something she's put, like give her like something to work on here, or like
Yeah.
with Chopper, like even if it's again one panel after each arc, whereas like, oh, mysterious illness here, and like, oh, like this illness,
Doing
like this
some
virus,
progression,
like
yeah.
this virus is it's weird. It's like it's been around for 3,000 years, and you're like, oh, that's a weird fact. It's like you
Yeah.
could tie all these into like all the lore we're getting right now.
Well, the thing with like here's one maybe one I don't know if you thought of this, but I see Nami's arc kind of complete, but she still has a job to do, and that's
Yeah.
fine. That's okay. But I also feel like after Whole Cake Island, I feel like Sanji's arc is also complete. But
I don't think so. I
but
would
think
disagree.
well, I would say what I get the sense of Sanji as a character now is he has a sense of duty to be Luffy's like.
I would strongly disagree. Actually,
Really?
I think.
What do you think he's got left?
I think Sanji got one of like his big arc wrapped up in Whole Cake, and then Oda just immediately gave him a new one.
with like being an android or human.
yeah, it was like, am I losing
Yeah.
my humanity? Like,
But I guess for me as a viewer or as like a watcher, I care less about that as much as like his
No, I think-
motivation. Like what I think drives him now isn't that. I feel like what drives him is just wanting to support Luffy. He's
Sure.
like he's decided I'm gonna be in this crew, like because that's what Whole Cake Island was kind of
Yeah.
about, was like him making that active choices of like I'm gonna live for me
Yeah.
and I'm gonna do what I want to do, and like he's not, you know what I mean? That was
I feel like it was more about. Really, was that your takeaway?
well, my takeaway is because Luffy's literally like say what you mean, right? When when they're having that fight and
oh, I mean afterwards. Okay, okay.
Or when
well, because it was
when
like
Sanji's like
yeah.
he's lying to him and he's like and
Yeah.
Luffy like punches him and he's like say what you actually want, and then he's like I want to go with you guys, I want to like explore, I want to
Yeah.
be like part of the crew, I miss you guys.
Well, because his mistake, quote unquote, or like what he needed to learn was like kind of the same as Robin, right? He thought he needed to protect the crew
Yeah,
because he felt they could not stand up to Big Mom, basically,
exactly.
right?
Yeah. And he learned to like trust the crew and
Exactly.
then also like go after what he actually wants.
And I agree that that's the stronger arc, but he has another, like, again, even if it's not as big, he has another one.
Yeah, you're right.
And
He
there's
has some
like
tension
interesting
still.
stuff there. I'm like, okay, well, he's kind of struggling with his humanity, and he's afraid that he'll become like his siblings now. Like, there's maybe he's not as big, but there's something there.
I guess what I'm saying is I'm okay with a character's motivation to be like a support. Like I just want to support Luffy in his dream, but they should still have like like Sanji, I get the sense he's like, I need to support Luffy, but if I don't beat Queen right now, I won't be able to do that. So he still always gets this like idea of like he has to overcome something to fulfill this role that he wants.
Yeah.
And I don't get that sense from Nami. I don't get like Nami's like, I need to get Zeus, or I need to power up to support Luffy better, or I need to become a better navigator to support Luffy. You know, that's like, I feel like that's the main difference between the two of them, even though from my, again, I get you disagree, but from my perspective, they're in a similar place, but one still has this motivation that is just, I just don't get Nami's motivation other than
she's part of the crew. I mean, and again, when I say like, this is my biggest criticism, because it's, I think, something that could be easily done to make things more interesting personally, and like make these characters more relevant, just giving them like a little bit and like a little bit of something to do, and like a little bit something to worry about. But again, it's like, even though I would say this is my biggest one, it's still not like massive, because I still enjoy like every time we get something from Brook or from Nami or from Chopper. But I just feel like there's so much potential to, like, even if you don't show it all the time, just give them like a little something to do in the background, and like, a little bit of drive, and immediately I care so much more.
Yeah, I agree.
And you can kind of see it from like, you get like a Brook fight or something, or a Chopper fight, and people are like, I want to see Zoro or Sanji. When you see Usopp, like, even though he's definitely not as cool, like, people are invested, because that's like actively part of his character arc.
Because Usopp's one of the best characters, like, in the story. Like, period.
And like, I think even people who maybe haven't realized it themselves why they like Usopp, but like they enjoy his fights and stuff like that. Well, again, because Nami or Chopper or Frankie like don't really have that same drive or like that background arc going on, I think it's easier to be like, I want to see like the really strong people fight again.
I'm worried that Usopp's going to get the same treatment as like Zoro and Wano, in that like we're not going to get enough of him in Elbaf.
I'm actually publishing a video today when we're recording this. It's obviously going to be out when this airs, like why Oda should kill Usopp. I bring this up in almost every podcast.
I don't agree with that, but I do think.
Don't you think that? Can I give you my thesis here?
Yeah, I want to. Here, give me some more sake, and then I'm gonna need another one for this theory.
To digest this.
Yeah.
So the reason is not because I hate. It's exactly the opposite. It's because I love Usopp that I want Oda to kill him, because technically Usopp has, in my opinion, already. Cheers. Like, I think Usopp is like fulfilling his own dream. Sorry, I'm like so far away from the microphone. Is like living up to his dream basically every single arc, right? He's always overcoming his own cowardice, fighting, standing up, being brave.
Yeah.
But the only person that can really like fulfill his own character arc is kind of himself, because he needs to see himself as brave.
Sure. And you think he has to sacrifice himself?
Well, what's braver than sacrificing himself for his captain or for his crew, right? Yeah. Against like a true force that he can't overcome. And like, it would easily become like the biggest and most important moment in all of One Piece. I can
see it. I can see it.
It would like be the catalyst for like, just imagine like the impact of suddenly not having Usopp around.
Yeah.
And what that does to like you as the audience, but also to Luffy and to like all the other characters. Like, it would be insane, but I think it would be like, storytelling wise, it would be such an insane thing to do in a positive way.
I could see it so here's my counter to that. Like, I thought about this in general, like, how does Usopp fulfill his role? And that is one direction.
Yeah.
But I feel like, I mean, I guess, so I'm going to say my thought is like, he has to go back and tell real stories. Like, at some point, like, the character of Usopp has to go back and undo the like.
Don't you think it's better? Don't you think it's? I mean, I see where you're getting at.
Like, I think to me that's like part of his, like, one conclusion could be that, and that would be like a really good conclusion to a character whose entire start was like nobody believed, like him making up stories, telling lies.
Wouldn't it be more poetic though? If someone else was telling his legend.
That's what, as I was explaining that, I was thinking that in my head, like, oh wait, yes, it could also be that we get like panels of people talking about the legends of Usopp.
God, Usopp,
back to his like those
great
kids.
Adventures.
And, so I could see that as well. I actually think Robin is the one who if anyone's gonna die, it would be Robin.
I don't see that.
I
think she's gone through too much.
But that's why I think it would be even more painful, as like a character who wanted to die, being like coming to terms with like, I want to live, not being able to like.
I mean, I don't disagree from a general storytelling perspective, but I don't think that that's the story that One Piece is.
Interesting.
I think that would be too too dramatic. I think that would be almost. I don't think Oda would go that hard on like a Shakespearean tragedy kind of.
That's why, because her whole life is kind of tragic. I mean, they're all tragic. But
I think the two Straw Hats that have the highest chance of dying are Usopp, just because I think it makes sense and it would be like so impactful.
Yeah.
And the other one is Luffy. I think has like a decent chance. Like Luffy feels like this almost Jesus level of character to me.
Sure.
Where I would love to see him just settling down and like getting married and like chilling in a bar.
Yeah, but you don't see that for him really.
Like I don't see him becoming like an emo replacement or something. I feel like if there's like, again, it would kind of depend what Oda's final vision is for what the correct way to lead the world is. Is it democracy? Is it like anarchy? Is it like a good ruler like Vivi? But if it's like a single person who's supposed to rule the world after Emu, I think it would be someone like Vivi or someone who would take that over. I don't see Luffy doing that.
Luffy wouldn't want to anyway.
Exactly. And so I'm like, he's such an embodiment of an ideal as a character. Once the world actually turns good and there's peace and like people are happy, like again, I would love to see Luffy just chilling and doing nothing or like just traveling around, but it almost feels like since he's such an and he has become even more of that now that he's the sun god who brings the dawn and the change. I'm always like, it's like a big, again, not saying that I want this to happen, but it feels like a big death flag for me.
I don't actually think Luffy needs to die.
No, he doesn't need to, but
like I don't think it would even be necessarily satisfying. Like I can see it happening, and that could be one conclusion. But I think everyone would be perfectly happy with, and it would be so in line with this character for after everything is said and done. When they're like, okay, what are you doing next? Are you gonna chill? He'd be like, no, there's like a million islands to explore. I'm gonna go forever.
And I think I think that would be the absolute like feel good ending to One Piece.
But I just feel like that's, unless he has to die for some reason, I feel like that's the most
there's
consistent with his arc and storyline.
So
is
much
like
foreshadowing in the story. Like we have the parallel to Roger, Luffy almost getting executed, and him
he's
being
also
fine with it.
He's lost years of like his lifespan from
using his abilities, and again, like the entire parallel to between him and Roger and probably Joy Boy and all these characters who kind of like, I don't know. I have like and again, I don't want this to happen, but I do have a gut feeling that this is like a real possibility at the end of the story.
Do you think? I mean, I could easily see that for sure. I don't want it to happen. I don't think it
like
needs to
him
happen
passing on the Straw Hat before
and then dying. Yeah, I could easily see it happening. I just don't know if I don't personally want that. I think Zoro would be more likely to die just from like
I don't think so
because Zoro will self-sacrifice in a second.
Exactly. No one cares if Zoro. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Like, yes, sad, but like Zoro sacrificing himself is literally like the least surprising thing.
That's fair. That's like it would be what he would do.
You'd be like, oh no, you killed Zoro.
I just can't see Luffy dying in any way that isn't through illness that Zoro wouldn't have already. Like, if Luffy's gonna die from a fight, Zoro's there. Like,
I don't think it would be through a fight. No, yeah. I think the way I could see it is bringing the, like, there's been like a lot of stuff about bringing the dawn and, you know, like potentially Luffy having to break the world before it can be like remade, like destroying Fishman Island and all the like. And I think there's like a real thing where there's like this last like Herculean act, whatever that may be, whether it's like grabbing, like using his Gear 5 powers to grab the literal sun out of the sky and bringing it to Earth or something, like whatever it may be. Like, I feel like that could be like one thing that he needs to do with his Gear 5 powers, with his God powers that are so immense, like literally world shaping. That is like just he can only do it once, and then literally. There's
just the only reason I don't like it for Luffy is I don't feel the tension. Like, I, in the same way that you're like, oh, Zoro would just obviously sacrifice himself. Yeah. In my mind, I'm like, yeah, Luffy would make that decision in a heartbeat. There's no real conflict to him sacrificing himself or like to be like, I'm gonna expend this. It's like so in line with his character that I'm like.
Well, I wonder though if that could be a moment for Luffy where, like, even though he was so okay with potentially like dying in Loketown, for example, or it's like that might just happen. I wonder if like there is this point where he's like actually like wouldn't die. I mean, again, from like, I'm just thinking from like a writing perspective. Yeah. Wouldn't it be powerful to see Luffy, who's always been so ideal, and like, oh yeah, if I need to die, I'm gonna die. Like, wouldn't it be like very poetic, like in the moment before he actually needs to do that, make that choice, like break down and like kind of have that Robin or Sanji moment, and he doesn't want to.
I could see it. Like the one time we see Luffy have that like real moment is in
Ace.
Well, there's Ace, but also when all the Straw Hats get
dispersed,
get dispersed, and you just see him like really.
And he has
really
like that
break
family,
down.
like, and I think like.
But that's where I think like the conflict for
Yeah.
Luffy actually exists is in this more like
Losing his family.
losing people. Like I think that's what he's really scared of. That's why I think other Straw Hats dying is more, or like him having to choose. Even like him having, I would say if he had to choose between like 2 Straw Hats or like the Straw Hats in the world, like that is something I think is much more interesting from like a storytelling perspective for Luffy's character, because like I actually don't know what he chooses. Like, do you think Luffy would sacrifice the Straw Hats to save the world, or sacrifice Straw Hats to save like a village?
I think he would say. I think he would easily. I'm pretty sure that he would sacrifice the world to save the Straw Hats.
I think I don't know.
Pretty sure.
I don't know, because there's so many, like he has so many other friends and family.
I don't think
in the
Luffy.
world.
I don't think Luffy thinks that big though.
I don't know. He every now
I mean,
and
he
then he has like
probably-
a deep. He has a real deep like thing about, you know.
Oh no,
like,
sorry. I mean, sorry. I'm not. I didn't mean it in a way that like he doesn't think deeply. I think he.
You think he's gonna sacrifice Momo's
Like, I think
Momo,
Luffy-
Vivi, like all his friends are along the way? You think
I
he's
think
gonna?
he would.
Should be interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
See, this is. As
I think for him, like his crew is like family, and like not saying that he does like the other people aren't like important to him, but like I think if he has them in front of him, and then there's the rest of the world at risk, I think he would choose.
Yeah, I mean, I also don't think Oda is gonna do that. But I think,
Or if he were to do it, he would probably find a way for Luffy to do it either way. I mean, I'm personally very, very curious how much, like, to what level of tragedy Oda wants to, because I think we're going to need some level of tragedy towards the end of the story, because otherwise if it's just Luffy gets really strong and then struggles a little bit against Emu, but then actually has a new power up, and if, like, that would be the most boring ending to One Piece, I personally think.
Yeah, I just don't want like a spoiler alert. I don't want like a Neji dies kind of thing where it's just like Neji just randomly dies and you're like, okay.
Yeah, no.
I didn't
No,
f-
it would need to be deserved in like a big part of the story, obviously. Yeah. Like just killing. But I mean, like Oda, I think, has the opposite problem.
Yeah, he doesn't kill enough
He
characters.
does, maybe that doesn't kill enough people. But I think whenever he does actually make it count.
Yes, I agree. I don't think you need. One thing I love about One Piece is it reminds me that you don't need to kill characters to have their arcs kind of feel like they end. Like Luffy beats characters by breaking their will, and that almost feels like the death of that, at least of that incarnation of that character, right? Like, like Crocodile doesn't feel like I needed him to die for like to understand the breakdown of like whatever his ideals were at that time.
Yeah.
And it's actually fun to see these characters like come back and be
In a changed way.
a little bit. Yeah. It's like one of my favorite things about One Piece is like no character feels like they're set in the ways like when you meet them. Although are Big Mom and Kaido dead? Like that's the one thing I can't I don't understand still.
I think no one knows. I mean, there was like the theory for a long time that that Big Mom might not be dead because Zeus is still alive. But then recently we got the homie
The
shield,
shield, yeah, that was in the last
which
chapter,
was
right?
probably Mother Caramel and not Big Mom. So
Why?
because Big Mom was still a kid, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
she probably consumed Mother Caramel when she destroyed the village, and we just assume that she was exiled from Elbaf after. So the shield would have probably need to be made before that, and then the user was still Mother Caramel.
That's a good point.
And so, well, we know that she's dead,
Yeah.
and if the shield's still okay, then that would technically mean that Big Mom could be dead, but Zeus could be alive.
Is that still the theory of like you eat someone, you get their fruit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems to be that's the big implication, right, with Big Mom.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we assume potentially with Blackbeard too.
Yeah.
Though, I
Or
mean,
he
that
eats their
still
heart or
that still
something.
doesn't explain obviously why he can eat 2 devil fruits, but it would explain how he directly transfers the fruit.
Which also makes more sense for like a almost even a animal-esque kind of fruit that he has, or like, at least it embodies some animal or something.
Yeah. The gourmet fruit.
The gourmet fruit. Oh my god. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm very curious on